Post States as the second game of the doubleheader as John Wickler alongside Greg Dean here. Actually, Greg Dean's behind me here for this game. Press box a little bit small here at Brandon, and we're still going to make things work. And games were moved from Harmon Park here to Brandon, and we get a chance to face Sioux Falls East and Yankton as well, just a little bit earlier than normal. And we just watched Sioux Falls East beat Yankton, and Yankton's the first team we're going to face here. They're going to be playing a little bit more confident than what they were in the early part of the game. They were down 14-1, ended up coming back. They didn't win the ball game, but they played all 7 innings. They're down 14-1 after 4 innings, scored 4 runs to keep the game alive, and that's can lead to some confidence, especially going into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yankton's, I think, a relatively young team. We talked about it a little bit before the game got started. Yankton's not a team that shows up on Pierre's schedule very often, just due to the distance and the travel requirements. And so it's kind of fun to face a different team, but I think it's a younger team that we'll see today from Yankton. And the other thing with COVID related activities, Yankton got a late start this year. If you follow their Twitter feeds, you can see that the Yankton Baseball Association was fairly cautious in terms of starting practices, and so they actually didn't. I don't think they actually started practice as a team until somewhere around that last week of May, somewhere around Memorial Day.
And they're coming in now at 1-3. They won their first game of the season, and then they dropped a doubleheader to Waterton. They just lost the last game to Sioux Falls East, and that is the only 4 games that they played so far. Post State, they've lost 4 games, but they've also won 10 games. So they're 10 games. They've played 10 more games than what Yankton has had. And especially at this type of a season, this type of the year that we've had, that means a lot going into any game early on for one team, and now getting the midway point for another team.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's going to show up a little bit in the experience level. Having 14 games under your belt, you kind of got a rhythm and a flow in the early season. And over the last 10 days or so, this Pierre team has really shown what they can do, especially offensively. They've really put a lot of things together offensively. I don't know what the team batting average is, but I suspect it's well over 300. They've put a lot of runs on the board, especially in the last several days.
And to that point, they won 15-2 on Sunday in Game 2, won 9-1 in Game 1 against Aberdeen, winners of 9 of their last 10. And it was not now just about hitting; it's the timely hits that they're getting that they didn't get at the beginning of the season. And when they started out 1-3, the timely hits are here. This team is playing a lot better baseball. Although they were playing good baseball to begin with, they're playing a lot better baseball now, and it's fun to see this team hit the ball well, field the ball well, and of course with Jack Van Camp on the mound, throw the ball well from the mound too.
Absolutely, and I think everybody knew that when you looked at when that schedule came out and you played 3 of your first 6 games against Rapid City Post 22, and then another game against the defending state champion in Renner. I think we all knew that first week was going to be kind of a gut check, and give the boys a lot of credit. I mean, they stood firm. Came out of that road trip to Rapid City where things didn't go real well, but then came back 2 days later and really did a lot of good things, and then the momentum has just carried over the last week.
And that was kind of the feeling. If those first 6 games, if you go 3-3, that's a pretty good start to the season. That's exactly what they did. And since then, they've won 9 of their last 10, including having won 6 in a row going into that game against Sioux Falls West, where they dropped the first of the doubleheader. This team against Yankton, and Yankton again, they're not necessarily reeling by any means because they've only played 4 games, but they've lost their last 3. And for Post State, it's going to be pretty kind of imperative to jump on them early and get down and make them get down. Although, as you saw in this last game, or I guess as we saw in this last game, they don't go away easy. So if you get on them early, it's not take the foot off the gas and kind of coast to the end of the ball game. Keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just something to watch at any level. I mean, if you can get a team down early, then the biggest danger is if the team that puts a lot of runs up early, if they get a little bit complacent, because I think that's kind of what happened in the first game here today. I mean, Sioux Falls East was up, like you said, 14-1, and then maybe got a little bit complacent, and Yankton put a little bit of a run here in innings and made a ball game happen. And so you hope if Post 8 can do that, get some runs up early, just put some runs up and keep putting them and keep putting runs across the plate.
Post 8 and Yankton come up here in just a little bit. We'll step aside for 3 minutes. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Brandon, as we're just about set here for the first of two this morning and into the afternoon, as Post 8 will take the field first. That'll be the home team in Game 1 against Yankton. They will be then the visitors in Game 2 against the Sioux Falls East. On the mound is Jack Van Camp as he walks his way out towards the mound, as Garrett Stout will be the man behind the plate. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here for Game 1 for Post 8, Game 2 of the day here at First National Bank Field. Greg, this is going to be interesting. Cade Hinkle not catching Game 1. Garrett Stout here is going to be the catcher for Game number 1. And this is the first time we're really seeing him catch a game in several years. Really the first time we're seeing anybody other than Cade Hinkle catch a game for Pierre high school team or Post 8 in quite some time.
Yeah, and Hinkle's just been a true blue-collar kind of warhorse workman behind that plate. I mean, he just puts the gear on game in and game out, and so I suspect this is probably a chance to give him a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a breather. The upside is that's a real drain if you're having to put the gear on and make about 200-300 throws a day over a doubleheader. So giving Hinkle a rest is probably pretty good situation for Post 8, especially with a doubleheader at home tomorrow and then going into 4 or maybe 5 games this weekend up in Minot.
Jack Van Camp is on the mound, and we're ready to go here. Rugby Ryan will lead things off for Yankton. The first pitch from Van Camp is fouled back to the screen. Exactly 11:30 here on this Tuesday morning from Brandon, as the count is 0-1. Van Camp went 5 innings on Wednesday in the 11-1 or the 11-1 win against Aberdeen. The 0-1 is fouled away. It's quickly 0-2 from the left-hander to the leadoff hitter in Rugby Rykins playing second base. Austin Wagner will follow him playing center field. Jordan Leitner is the third baseman batting third, or Jaden Leitner, the third baseman batting third. The 0-2 pitch is just a bit outside, now 1-2. Carson Hack is the first baseman cleaning up. Matthew Hine, the DH, will be at bat fifth. Jason McCorkle, the catcher, is batting sixth. Tristan Redmond, the left fielder, batting seventh. Dylan Prouty, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Carmen Zarbach, the right fielder, will bat ninth. The strikeout looking of Riken. There's one down here to open up play in the top of the first. Defensively for Post State, River Iverson is out in left field. Matt Lusk is the center fielder. Bennett Dean is the right fielder. A.J. Gaden is at third. Lincoln Keenels is the shortstop. Andrew Coverdale at second base. Andy Gordon is the first baseman, and Garrett Stout behind the plate as the first pitch from Van Camp to the number 2 hitter, Austin Wagner, is taken high for ball one. Here's the 1-0 from Van Camp, swing and a miss, and it's now 1-1 here to the number 2 hitter, Austin Wagner. Yankton struggled in game number 1, down 14-1 early, and going into the top of the fifth inning, but scored 5 runs in that fifth inning to keep the ball game alive. Ended up losing, I believe it was 14-7 was the final score. I think it was 14-9, but it was still a nice performance by Yankton to not fold the cart and give in and when they were down 14-1. 2-2 is the left-hander Van Camp will deal. That one is hiking on the inside corner and looked out for strike 3, and Van Camp's got back-to-back strikeouts to open the ball game, both looking, and there's 2 down here in the top of the first, as that'll bring in Jaden Leitner, the third baseman here in game 2 for Yankton. They're going to be done for the day by the time we get done with this ball game, just a little after 1 o'clock, as they start their first game at 9 this morning. The first pitch is on the outside corner, and it's taken for strike 1. Van Camp looking to work pretty quick here in this top of the first inning. The off speed looks good from the left-hander. Here's the 0-1. That one's inside, and it's 1-1 here to Jaden Leitner. And for Post State, got up early this morning, probably at the same time that Yankton got up to get it here for their ball game, as we play here just at 11:30. 1-1 pitch. That one's fouled away. It's now 1-2. Van Camp
looks like he's got good velocity right now here in the top of the first inning. Any ball that the Yankton battle, because he is dealed a couple of times on the strikeout pitch, and he does it again there for out number 3. Strikes out the side in order for Van Camp, and that will retire the top of the first inning. We head to the bottom of the first. Post State will come to the plate. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today it's KCCR, and today it's KCCR.com. Back here for the bottom of the first inning as we go through the Post-State lineup. Andrew Coverdale will lead things off. He's playing second base. Garrett Stout, the catcher, in the number 2 spot here for game 1. Andy Gordon will play first base as he bats third. Gray Zabe will be the DH in the cleanup spot. River Iverson will play left field and bat fifth. It is Bennett Dean, the right fielder, batting sixth. Matt Lusk batting seventh, and playing center field. A.J. Gaden will be the third baseman, batting eighth, and Lincoln Keenels will round things out as he plays shortstop here in game number 1. They will go against Samuel Campshaw. Campshaw will get the ball here for game 2 for Yankton. Game 1 for Post State here this mid-morning, late morning, and early afternoon as they look to split here today in Brandon, as they are now 3 on the early season. As Andrew Cover lead things off. Boy, Greg, on Sunday, this Post State team had a really good 2 really good games and really hit the ball really well, starting with Andrew Coverdale here in the leadoff spot. Absolutely. He had himself a day on Sunday. 7 hits in the doubleheader, and the 2 outs that he made were both loud ringing outs. And so when you're in a zone like that, you just want to keep playing. I mean, you want to get right back on the field the next day. And so for Andrew, it's maybe not the next day, but it is 2 days later, and looking forward to see him that hitting prowess on into this doubleheader today.
First pitch was foul pitch, but it is 0-1. Shaw's going to work from the stretch here to open up the bottom of the first inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Coverdale. There's a maybe 3-4 steps past the infield. The grass, what looks like the outfield grass turns into the actual outfield grass here at First National Bank Field in Brandon, home of the Brandon Valley Lynx. As I believe we don't see them on the regular season schedule. The 1-1 is inside now, 2-1.
Infield turf is something Yankton is very used to playing on, because Riverside Park down in Yankton is set up the same way. Turf on the infield, natural grass in the outfield. So playing surface is something they're very familiar with.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Andrew Coverdale. Swinging a miss, is now 2-2. And yeah, for Yankton and probably Sioux Falls East a little bit, they play a little bit more on turf. And Post State, this here is really the only time that you see a whole lot of turf games. Last year played at Augie in that Dakota Classic semifinals. The 2-2 pitch to Coverdale. That one's back up the middle to the shortstop. Prouty will throw to first, and the leadoff man is retired here to open up the bottom of the first inning. And for Post State, that'll bring up Garrett Stout. And like I said, they don't get to see a whole lot of turf infields or just turf fields in general.
In the infield maybe comes up a little higher than what you're used to on a natural grass infield, and the other thing that you have to adjust for is you have to start sliding a little earlier, because if you're a base runner and you're sliding into second, third, or home, you slide a little farther, and so you have to make that adjustment. Otherwise, if you slide over the base, you put yourself in peril.
First pitch to Garrett Stout is taken for ball 1. Stout's well, really, if you look at it, he might have been the only one that actually struggled on Sunday. And really, struggling isn't that big of a word, because nobody struggled at all on Sunday. But he didn't have the usual multiple hits, had just a couple of hits on Sunday, as it's now 2-0 to the catcher, Stout. But as Coach White had said after the game on Sunday and on Monday Morning Sports, that this is what makes a good team, is you pick guys up and you have multiple guys that have good days from the plate. And it's now 3-0 to Stout, and that's what's going to make this team better going forward, is having multiple guys be able to pick up a lot of hits in the game and not just lean on 1, 2, and 3 in the order, or 3, 4, and 5. It's 1 through 9 can all have really good days.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that as good as the team was offensively on Sunday up in Aberdeen, if you had to have a day where a Garrett Stout, has a day when he's not up to his usual par, that's a great day to have it, because just about everybody else up and down the lineup was hitting the ball all over the park.
3-1 pitch to Stout. He swings and misses, now 3-2. But again, 2 for Stout, and for anybody that, when you're the one that's probably struggling a little bit more than anybody else, is a little bit more frustrating, because you're seeing everybody else get a whole lot of hits, and it makes it a little bit more frustrating when you're the one that's not getting all those hits. As the 3-2 pitch coming in from Camshaw to Stout. So that'll bring in Andy Gordon. Gordon got a much-needed day off, or a game off, in Game 2 on Sunday, as he's been that number 3 spot, and this is a rarity for him to come up to the plate with nobody on base. You don't see that very often, that Coverdale and Stout both go down to open up an inning, and Gordon comes up with nobody on. Here's the first pitch to Andy Gordon. He'll ground that one to the third baseman, fielded by Leitner. The long throw to first is going to be in time, and both pitchers have a 1-2-3 inning in the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We played one complete. It's scoreless between Pierre and Yankton here in Brandon. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. To the top of the second here at Brandon, as we welcome you back in here on this Tuesday morning on today's KCCR, KCCR.com, over on our KCCR Sports YouTube page. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. Carson Hack, Matthew Hine, and Jace McCorkle, the first three hitters, as one of these three guys, starting with Cameron Hack, looking to put a ball in play. First pitch is taken for strike one, as Jack Van Camp struck out the side in order in the top of the first inning. 2 looking and 1 swinging. The 0-1 pitch is outside, and it's now 1-1. Both pitchers had a strong top of the first inning for both Pierre and Yankton, with nobody reaching base. The 1-1 pitch, that one is now down low, and it's now 2-1 to the number 4 hitter, Cameron Hack, the first baseman. And then for Jack Van Camp, especially after probably didn't see too much of what the game was going on, but as long as he looked up at the scoreboard, as it's now 3-1, and up until Bill Van Camp showed up to do the scoreboard, nobody would have known what the score actually was. Pierre would have known what the score was and had been able to see how things transpired, as that will lead to the first base runner, as he'll have a leadoff walk to Cameron Hack. But Yankton finished the game hitting the ball really well. So for Van Camp to come in and get 3 straight strikeouts is a good start against this Yankton team that felt probably a little more confident from the plate going into this game.
Yeah, and it was actually Hack that kind of started the rally when Yankton started to mount their comeback. He deposited a well hit ball over the left field fence for a home run, and that kind of ignited some fire under Yankton. And so now he leads off the top of the second with a walk, and after a pass ball, now he's down to second base, and Yankton's got a little bit of something going here in the top of the second.
1-0 pitch from Van Camp to Hines. Ground to the right side. It's going to move Hack to third base. Coverdale will field, and there's one down. And that pass ball right now could lead to Yankton pulling a 1-0 lead early, as it was a good piece of hitting there from Hine to force Hack over to third base by hitting it to the right side of the infield. And one that may go unnoticed in the box score, but that's a quality at-bat. It's a good at-bat from Hine.
Yeah, absolutely, and those are the things that you don't really see in the box score. But you talk about productive outs. You hear baseball people talk about productive outs. That's a productive out. Move the base runner over, get him 90 feet away when with less than 2 outs, and so he's throwing a pass ball, wild pitch, fly ball, sac fly. So whatever happens.
Jace McCorkle's quickly watched the first 2 go by. The 0-2 pitch turns into Yankton absolutely needing a base hit to try and get that run to end the score. Here's Van Camp, the 1-2 pitch from the windup. Swing and a miss. There's the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Van Camp, and that is a big second out. And now with Tristan Redmond in the plate, he has to put one through the infield to drive that first run in. After Hack was able to get the second on a pass ball, he got to third on that ground ball, and Van Camp with that nice strikeout here with 2 down in the top of the second. First pitch is at the letters for strike 1. And Van Camp wasted no time up on the mound, finding his rhythm early on, as he'll deliver the 0-1 pitch to Redmond. Just misses, maybe a little bit outside, potentially a little high, and it's now 1-1. Number 7 in the batting order. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Redmond's tied up in knots. I don't think he really wanted any piece of that fastball and, swing. And he's down 1-2 in the count.
Yeah, and with any pitcher, if you can get up ahead on that first pitch strike, I mean, you just set yourself up, especially at a level like American Legion or high school ball. You just set yourself up to be in such a much better position for success, and that's what we're seeing today out of Jack Van Camp. Is he's getting that first pitch across for a strike and sets himself up for a good at bat.
2-2 pitch. That one's chopped foul. Redmond. Oh boy, that was a very defensive swing there with the 2-2 count. I think he started that swing right before. I think he hit the ball in home plate. That's how far back he was and maybe able to chop it. Here's a 2-2 pitch again. There's a swing and a miss, and Van Camp will get another strikeout. His second of the inning, 5th of the ball game already. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We have played an inning and a half. We have no score. Post State's and Yankton tied at 0. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. To the bottom of the second, Dean, it's 4, 5, and 6. Gray Zabel, River Iverson, and Bennett Dean to lead things off here for Post 8, looking there for their first base runner. As Yankton has just one base runner through 2 innings. It was a leadoff walk that got straight into third base. And here's Gray Zabel to lead things off for Post 8. And Greg, we saw this several times, especially against Aberdeen on Wednesday and Sunday, that they love to pull the shift to Gray Zabel. But I would say probably 7 of his last 9 hits have been to left field. He doesn't pull the ball like a normal left-hander would. Although he has the capability of doing that, he likes to use the whole portion of the field. And right now they're playing him straight up a little bit. They're playing straight up and not trying to shift over too much. Base runner. The ball going the dugout. And the ball in the dugout, then Zabel is on at second. But it just hit the top of the netting, so it's just a leadoff single for Zabel. Now bringing River Iverson, who is no stranger to infield hits. I believe 7 of his last 9 hits have come from being infield hits.
gives the crowd a chance to watch River Iverson display his speed. I mean, he's a kind of a stockily built young man, but he's got better speed than maybe what you give him credit for, and he does leg out a fair number of infield hits.
He'll bunt this one back to the mound. The throw to first is in time. Sacrifice here for River Iverson, and there's now 1 down. Yeah, he really, especially that first at bat, and could almost probably guess that he was retired on the sacrifice. But here comes Sunday, don't you think?
Yeah, he had a nice game. See him.
Throw goes into center field. Nobody was covering the bag. Zabel will get to third base. There's the first error of the ball game, and that's going to be charged to the pitcher, Kamshoff, who not sure if maybe there was a timing play in there that he just turned and threw to second base, but the shortstop and the second baseman were absolutely nowhere close to second base, and Zabel, he was closer to being hit by the ball than actually any of the fielders catching the ball.
Yeah, and that was I made up before he even started to move that he was going to throw to second base, and both the shortstop and second baseman were at least 20 to 30 feet away from the base, and so by the time he released the ball, there was no chance. The only one that was going to make the play was the center fielder.
First pitch to Dean is taken for a strike. Well, I'm asking you that comment and see if you can, build up Bennett a little bit more and talk about it. Chance to talk to your son, but he did have a really good game. The first 2 hits of the game on Sunday for Bennett. He had 5 runs driven in with a 2 RBI single and then a 3-run home run over right field as the 1-0 is outside now, 2-0. And Bennett's another guy, and Coach White also said it too. He's hitting the ball as well as some of these guys are doing. His job a lot tougher to who those 9 guys are going to be, and Bennett has earned another 1 to Bennett Dean.
Yeah, and again, Bennett's going to probably pull the ball more than he will go the other way, kind of opposite of what Gray Zabel does. But we saw a little bit of that flash on Sunday up in Aberdeen.
That one's popped sky high out towards shallow right field. The second baseman will come over and make the catch. Zabel will not tag as Rugby Ryken will grab that, and there's now 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. Now we'll bring in Matt Lusk. Well, let's go through the defensive alignment here for Yankton. Forgot to do that in the first 5 outs that they've been on the field. Redmond's out in left field, Wagner in center, and Zarbach in right field. Leitner is the third baseman, Browdy's the shortstop, Ryken at second, and Hack is at first. Behind the plate is Jace McCorkle, and it is Samuel Kamshoff that will deliver the first pitch to Matt Lusk, trying to drive it first game, as that one is taken at the letters for strike 1. And Matt Lusk as well, hitting in front of Bennett Dean, kept getting on base for Bennett to drive him in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one will get away from the catcher. Field to throw around the tag of Kamshoff, but did not. And Zabel is thrown out to end the bottom of the second inning. And that will retire things. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. We're scoreless through 2. Yankton's coming to the plate at the top of the third inning. You listen to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. 8-9-1 due up here for Yankton in the top of the third. The first pitch is popped, foul on the right side. Andy Gordon will get turned around and can't make the catch as he was trying to find his way over towards the fence. And then when he realized where the ball was at, it was behind him. I turned back around. Jack Van Camp, number 8 hitter, Dylan Proud. The 0-1 pitch is outside now, 1-1. Here to the shortstop, Prouty.
He said, that's what you really want in that situation, and that's a real luxury if you've got that ability as a coach.
That one will be down for a base hit. The lead is on, and that'll be bringing Zarbach the championship last year, or at least in the middle. And Carson Hack with Jaden Leitner. The 1-0 pitch. That one is at the letters, and it's now 1-1. Split it right between Gordon and Coverdale. There's no chance for either one of those to field it. 1-1. Outside now, 2-1. And one has scored. 2-2 pitch again. Swing and a miss. Seed 1-0 over Pierre. You're listening to Post State. Today's KCCR.com. Here at the bottom of the third inning, as we will have 7, 8, and 9 for Post State, as it is going to left at home when Zabel was thrown out trying to score. Well, it would have been a pass ball, but a good play by the catcher McCorkle, throwing the tag from Kamshoff, and trying to avoid the tag, but just couldn't quite get that. And as tall as he is, couldn't quite get that reach to touch home before he was tagged out.
Yeah, if he would have been about 6'9" instead of 6'6", I think he would have scored.
So here's Matt Lusk again. He got a chance to see Kamshoff before actually getting his first potential official at-bat. First pitch is inside for ball 1. And several times in the games, the man at the plate has been coming back up to start the next inning because somebody was either picked off to end the inning, thrown out trying to steal, or just anything at all. We've seen that same guy that end the one inning comes back to start the next, as it's now 1-1 to Matt Lusk.
See the pitcher cycle through all his pitches, and Matt had a good at bat going before Gray was thrown out at home plate. So he's really working more of like a 7 or 8 pitch at bat right now.
1-1 pitch at the letters. It's now 1-2. I mean, just above the letters, but still taken for a strike two. The umpire's strike zone here in this ball game has been a good size and seems to be consistent, at least we play here in the third inning, here with Matt Lusk being the leadoff hitter. Kamshoff will come set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2 pitch to the number 7 hitter, Matt Lusk. That one's popped too much at the home umpire about the strike zone, especially when it's consistent, whether it's a little high, maybe a little outside. If you're getting it from both ways, then most coaches are happy about 3-2. Really 5-6 hits between the two games in AJ Gate.
One thing you notice about Matt Lusk, if you ever watch him over a period of time, he
for Post State. Lincoln Keenol's was not on deck, but AJ Gate still back in the lineup at third base, and the way he's been hitting.
Yeah, and AJ really
won. The third baseman, we play him 1-1 swing and a miss, and Gainon's down in the count now 1-2.
Yeah, and make the defense handle it. We'll see what Kamshoff can come back and see if we see that change here later in this at bat.
1-2 pitch. That one's fouled back to the screen, and it's now 1-2. It stays 1-2.
Haven't seen much of a curve or a third pitch at Kamshoff. Looks like he's pretty much been working straight fastball changeup throughout the first 2 and a third inning so far.
Kamshoff, again, he works from the stretch even with nobody on base, as he'll come set, and the 1-2 pitch again to A.J. Gaydon is on its way. Swing and a miss, and Gaydon goes down on strikes. The second strikeout of the ball game for Kamshoff. They'll bring in Lincoln a long time ago since we watched him play. First pitch from Kamshoff to Keels is inside for ball 1. Post State will play tomorrow evening at 5:30, and then the second game to follow against Mandan at Hyatt Stadium. Followed up with a game after Saturday, and I believe it's 2:15 on Saturday to finish out the
Lincoln went out to Rapid City over the weekend, played with the Junior Legion team as they've been struggling a little bit with some injury issues out in that team. And so Lincoln went out, had a really good weekend out there, both hitting and
in the bottom of the third. Want to make sure I get this right out. 3:30 and technically 5:45 on Friday for Pierre in Minot. And then they'll play at 10 a.m. the first game on Saturday. And as we welcome you back here to the bottom of the fourth inning, as we 2, 3, and 4. Garrett Stout, Andy Gordon, and Gray Zabel. If anybody gets on base, it'll go back to River Iverson. Post State's right now trailing 1-0 here in a nice pitching duel between Kamshoff and Van Camp. As Kamshoff has given just that two hits to Zabel and Keels, but he's been able to work out of facing one over the minimum through 3 innings so far. He worked around his own error as well, which allowed Zabel to get to third base, but he retired him after a ball got away from the catcher. As Garrett Stout will step to the plate in game number.
Yeah, bunting is a little bit of a challenge on the turf just because you get a truer bounce, but you also are going to get a lot more roll. You won't be. It's tougher to deaden the ball, and so bunting really becomes an art on this this artificial turf surface.
The 1-0 is fouled back, and it's now 1-1. Vehicle has parked its way out in the right center. He gets away with it, or she gets away with it right now. Those last on. As the 1-1 pitch will come in from Kamshoff to Stout. That one's a curveball that doesn't cross the plate. Now 2-1. Well, haven't seen that too often from Kamshoff, and that was a real loopy one.
Yeah, in fact, I was just going to say the same thing. I think that's the first real curveball we've seen out of Kamshoff through 3+ innings. So we'll see if he digs that out of the bag of tricks going forward.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Kamshoff to Stout. Outside now 3-1. On deck is Andy Gordon. Will be followed by Gray Zabel here to open up the bottom of the fourth inning. Post State playing back-to-back days. We'll get home as well. As long as games stay somewhat on schedule, you have the average. As I believe it was 3-0 on Stout as well, and he was able to come back and
post hitters usually do a pretty good job. I mean, they've got a pretty knowledge of the strike zone. So once you get ahead out, they really try to work the counter, make you throw something that they can put a good swing on.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. That one will miss inside, and it's a 4-pitch walk and just the third base run in the ball game here for Post State. As Gordon will be on at first, and that'll bring in Gray Zabel. DH here in game number 1. He will start game number 2, and believe Coach Wyatt and Coach Niles are talking about going to go. There's something between he's going to start, which will 30-minute between. Get to second on a sac bunt, got the third, almost threw it away and into the dugout. To get to second on a sac bunt, got the third on the air from Kamshoff, trying to pick off nobody at second base, and was thrown out trying to score. The 0-1 pitch. That one's flown out towards left field. Going runs on no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We have played 4 innings here at Brandon. Yankton.com. Van Camp will give a base hit to lead things off here in the top of the fifth inning after the 0-1 pitch is served out towards center field. And it is the leadoff single for the number 8 hitter, Dylan Prouty. He's now 2 for 2. He's got 2 of the 3 hits for Yankton so far here in this ball game as we play here in the top of the fifth. Had a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat as the first pitch is taken for strike one as he was showing bunt again. And it's 0-1 here to the right fielder, Zarbach.
And I would suspect that you're going to see Zarbach squared around a bunt the first time. I suspect you'll see him square around again.
Trying it again. He'll foul that one back, and it's now 0-2. And so we'll see if he tries to bunt one more time or if they take that off and be the number 9 hitter in the order and also not getting paid a whole lot of money to be a baseball player. Most likely to take that off. Most of the time a pitcher in the National League, which won't happen this year because there's no pitchers hitting this year in baseball. The 0-2 pitch, that one will miss, and it's now 1-2. But only pitchers will keep that bunt on with 2 strikes. And that's usually the benefit of they just don't grab. Well, he did show bunt a little bit, pulled it back, and it's now 2-2.
Yeah, and again, with the number 9 hitter, again, even with 2 strikes.
Big comes in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. He'll try and bunt one more time, and he'll look at it for strike 3. He pulled it back and it went across the letters, and Van Camp gets another strikeout, looking his third in his last 2 innings. I'm losing track of how many strikeouts he's had. He's got up to 10 now in the ball. He's got 2 innings of nothing but strikeouts. So look at strike 1. He's one of those 10 strikeout victims. As I believe, as we look through, only Prouty is the only guy that has not been a strikeout victim to. 1-1 will get into the turf, take it off for a second. The throw to second is going to be in time. Not a double play, but it does take away one. It is an extra out for Post State as that one barely scooped away from Stout. It was somewhat of a high throw. Coverdale was able to make the catch and get the tag down. And now 3-1 to the number 1 hitter in the order, Rugby Riken. In the first.
Nice play by Garrett Stout to nail the runner at second base. And again, you just having a really good catcher, whether it's Katie, such a luxury.
There one is popped up to the first baseman, Gordon, as Wagner has somewhat of a defensive swing on the first pitch. And Gordon was able to make the catch, and that will end the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 4.5 is complete here at Brandon, and Yankton leads 1-0 over Post State. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and to KCCR.com. It is the bottom of the 5th inning, and it'll be Bennett Dean, Matt Lusk, and A.J. Gaden, 6, 7, and 8 in the order to lead things off as Sam Kampshoff has limited Post State to just 2 hits through 4 innings and has been effective so far, but Post State has been knocking on the doorstep the last couple of innings and trying to maybe break at least 1 run through to tie the ball game up. As Van Camp, who has given up just 3 hits through 5 innings, really it's in a spot where you look at the 5 innings that he's thrown, 99 times out of 100, he's in a spot to easily pick up a win. But right now he's got to keep it at a 1-0 score or keep Yankton at just 1 run, and because he's still trailing in the ball game 1-0. Here's Bennett Dean to lead things off. He flew out to he popped out of the second baseman in his first at bat. The first pitch is taken for strike 1. As ball will get towards center field. 3 hits for Yankton, 2 for Post State. 1 error apiece. And for Post State, they've left 2 men on base. Yankton has left 4 men on base, as this has been a fun pitcher's duel between these two teams right now. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Kamshoff to Dean, is outside now, 1-1.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about it before. I mean, so far, 90. I think we've only seen a curveball out of Kamshoff about 2 or 3 times so far. So if you're the pure hitters, you really want to either sit fastball or sit changeup and just look for that pitch, because Kamshoff has not shown an ability to throw that curveball for a strike.
Dean will ground it back to the mound, fielded by Kamshoff. He'll step and throw. It's a little high, and the tag is applied by the first baseman, Hack, and there's 1 down to open up the bottom of the 5th inning. A routine ground ball that turned into a much more nervous out for Yankton than what they originally looked like, as Matt Lusk will step to the plate. He flew out to the left fielder in his first at-bat. As we play here in the bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0 lead for Yankton here at Brandon, First National Bank Field. First of 2 games for Post State. They'll play Sioux Falls East next. First pitch is taken for strike 1. Got started a little early. We were scheduled to start at 1 o'clock and then around 3:30 over at Harmon Park. Well, they had a lot of rain yesterday, and Harmon Park isn't the best to drain the field. So we moved the games over here to Brandon, as they also have games later on tonight. So they want to get these games done with earlier, so they have enough time to start their games, especially if we get behind, as it's now 0-2. As we did in the first game, we got started half an hour later than what we were originally thought, with 11 and then possibly 1, as we have just eclipsed the hour mark, an hour and 5 minutes of this ball game. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Matt Lusk. That one will come in and hit him. There's a curveball that again misses, and he's thrown the curveball, has Kamshoff, to 2 left-handed hitters, and it's been on the outside edge, nowhere close to the plate in those 2 times. He throws it a 3rd time, and on the right-handed hitter, it plunks Lusk right in the waist.
Yeah, he started off Lusk with a curveball for a strike. I think that was the first strike we've seen him throw with that curveball so far today, but then came back when he was up in the count and just was not able to get the release point where he wanted it and drifted too far inside. Now Matt Lusk stands on first base.
Here's A.J. Gain, the first pitch, as Lusk takes off. The first pitch is low, and Lusk will stand at second. Throw comes in, but well late. A good jump there from Matt Lusk, and he is in scoring position with 1 down, as it's a 1-0 count to A.J. Gain, and see if he can continue what he had in the game, or in both games on Sunday against Aberdeen, and to continue his hot streak and tie the ball game up here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
The thing we noticed about AJ on Sunday was everything that he hit. He was like Coverdale. Everything he hit hard. And so again, right now with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th, you don't want to give up an out, but if he can hit the ball someplace hard and move Lusk over and get him 90 feet away, again, you put yourself in a position to possibly tie this game up, even if he does produce an out.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to A.J. Gaden. That one is out towards right field. It should move Matt Lusk over to right if they test the arm. The throw from the right fielder is going to be a good one from Zarbach, and it will keep Matt Lusk at second base. And there's now 2 down. And a smart play there from Lusk. He started to go. The throw was pretty much on the money. And the last thing you want to do is make that first or third out at third base. So with Lincoln Keno's in, he's 1 for 1. If he gets a base hit, he can still tie the game up with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and again, you tag up, you try to draw the throw from the right fielder, and Zarbach made a good throw, right on the money, 1 hop, easy play to field for the third baseman. And so if the throw is offline one way or the other, you make the defense make a play. Yes.
So it's 1-0 count to Lincoln Keno's. That curveball missed low and outside to the right-handed hitter Keno's. This would be a big confidence boost to Lincoln Keno's 1. And for the soon-to-be sophomore, continue to hit the ball well. Pickoff attempt back to second, and diving back in safely is Lusk.
Yeah, if you can, he's got Keno's has one of Pierre's 2 base hits today. If you could could get a second one here, and with 2 outs, Lusk will be moving on contact off of second base. So any ball that's into the outfield, Lusk is probably going to score on. So it would be a big confidence booster for Keenholz if he could put a ball in play and drive in the first round of the game here for Post A here in the bottom of the 5th.
The top of the order is on deck, and Andrew Coverdale, as Cam Schaff will come set. Lusk leads away from second, and time is called by Keenholz.
And that's a good. If you're a hitter, I mean, you want to be in control at the plate. I mean, you want to get a pitcher out of his rhythm, especially somebody who, like Cam Schaff, who has thrown really well today. You want to make him a little uncomfortable and get him out of his rhythm. And so a good move by Keenholz to call timeout, step out of the box, and make Cam Schaff reset.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Cam Schaff to Keenholz, a curveball that's over for strike 2. And we're seeing Cam Schaff throw that curveball just a little bit more as we get later in the game. Maybe got a little bit better feeling of that pitch right now. And now that kind of to prepare for with 2 strikes and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning, trying to extend it at least to Coverdale, if not tie this ball game up. Cam Schaff will come set, and here comes the 1-2 to the third base. The shortstop Keenholz swings and misses, and he goes down on strikes. And that will end the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. Post State has been held scoreless through 5 complete. Yankton has a 1-0 lead. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the 6th inning here as Jack Van Camp will work into his 6th inning. It'll be for Yankton, 3, 4, and 5. First pitch is missed inside to Jaden Leitner, who got had a single in the 3rd inning. As the 1-0 is a check swing, and his foul ball is not 1-1. Actually, wasn't even a check swing. He barely got the ball off the shoulders. But it found the bat, and it's evens it up at 1-1. Van Camp from the windup. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's all speed. That's on the outside corner. It's now 1-2. Van Camp has looked strong here through 5 complete innings, working into the top of the 6th. Here's the 1-2 from Van Camp as they'll hesitate the pitch, and that's a grounded foul down the first base line. And it remains 1-2. The side of a lot of these Pierre pitchers, and you see that in all types of baseball too. When things are going well, modern day, like Johnny Cueto, you've added a couple of guys that you could say a modern day too, but as the count is now 2-2 to Leiter. And he swings and misses and goes down on strikes as Van Camp will rack up another strikeout as he's gotten over 2 handfuls now of strikeouts in this ball game with 1 down in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, Jack's really throwing a nice game. He was at 78 pitches coming into this inning, and I think, what do you say, 11 strikeouts now for him, and just has really had good command of the zone all day long. And right now you just hope that Post State can break through and put a couple runs on the board and support him right now.
Carson Hack swings and misses at the 1-0 pitch, and it's now
as the batter gets set. I mean, Jack is ready to go.
1-1 is fouled away, and it's now 1-2. As we welcome you back here, Post State still trailing 1-0, but they have the top of the order up. Andrew Coverdale, Garrett Stout, and Andy Gordon. Looks like Jack Van Campbell finishes, so he could potentially be the winning pitcher, or at least not be the losing pitcher in the game.
In the ball game, and Post State is in this ball game. They're only down 1-0 through 5.5.
First pitch to Andrew, sixth inning, as he has been very good as well. Just 2 hits so far. 5 hits combined in the game. 3 for Yankton, 2 for Post State. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Coverdale. Upstairs now 2-0. Not a whole lot of base runners to go around either for Post State. They've had just 4 runners, a walk and a hit by pitch have been their latest 2 runners, but it's been in the 4th and 5th inning. They have not had 2 guys on base at all at the same time in 1 inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one will miss low in his face and bring up Garrett Stout, followed by Gordon and Zabel. Here's the 3-0 coming to Andrew Coverdale, looking to get on base for the first time. That one will miss low, and the leadoff man is aboard here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that'll bring in Garrett Stout, who is 0 for 2 so far.
And if you're a team like Yankton, you've struggled so far this year. I mean, they're 1-3 after the loss earlier today to Sioux Falls East, and maybe have not really put things together. And so you're coming in playing a very good team in Post State, and so you're up late in the game here in the bottom of the 6th, and this is a situation where sometimes, especially and we don't know how old most of these kids are. I'm just, judging by just kind of body frames. That probably are, most of them are probably younger. You don't see a lot of kids that you'd naturally think would be juniors and seniors. And so sometimes you get into a late game situation like this, and you kind of tighten up a little bit, and we'll see if Kampshoff can continue what he has done so far, which is throw a true gem of a game through 5+ so far.
So here's Garrett Stout, who is 0 for 2. He will hit against Kampshoff. First pitch is in the dirt. A good stop. Coverdale starting to make his way towards second, but a good block by McCorkle keeps him at first. And Coverdale's a guy that any pitch off the turf could easily allow him to get to second base. He reads every pitch really well. The 1-0 pitch. Coverdale is off for second. There's a ground ball through for a base hit. Coverdale around second. He's off for third. He goes underneath the right fielder's glove. And coming home is Coverdale. The throw of the plate's not going to be in time. And it's Stout will pick up a base hit. Coverdale scores all the way from first. And Stout is in scoring position off the air from the right fielder. This ball game is tied, and Gordon can bring in the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 6th for the base hits.
And I think once you break through like they just did, you really hope that just continues to feed on down through the lineup.
So with nobody out, the go-ahead run is on at second base. Needing at least Garrett Stout to come in to score to give them a 2-1 lead, as we could see Matt Luss come in for his 4th save and his 4th chance. If Post State can take that 1-run lead, Gordon's already showing bunt. The first baseman, and Hackett's come all the way down. Gordon will pull it back, and that was taken high for ball 2. Those are the dangerous plays where Hackett's standing. If Gordon rips one down the first base line, Hack doesn't have a whole lot of time. It has very little time to react to a ball coming right at him.
Yeah, because Andy Gordon showed bunt all the way through, and Hack is probably about 40 feet from home plate right now. And then when Andy pulls the bat back, your stomach kind of comes up in your throat if you're the first baseman.
2-0 out towards left field, left center, going back on his both men, the left field and center fielder. Stout, as that gets down to the wall, he'll try and score from third, and he will score as he took off from second base after the ball got down, and Andy Gordon has given Post State a 2-1 lead with an RBI double. And Post State has their first lead of the ball game and a chance to add to it here with Gray Zabel coming to the plate.
Andy Gordon does what he does so well, and that's just hit line drives all over the place. And Kampshoff just left one up in the zone, and Andy put a good stroke on that and was able to put it one hop out to the left center field fence, and we are going to get a pitching change for Yankton post 12.
Cam Shaw's day will come to a close from the mound. We'll have a pitching change, and we'll tell you what the change is going to be after this minute break. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Talk, so we'll have him go through that a little bit here for a second.
Okay, well, I think what we have seen is Kampshoff will go 5+ innings on the mound. His line for the day is 5 innings. He's responsible for Andy Gordon out at second base, but 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for Kampshoff, 77 pitches on the day for him. The for post 12, Hack will come in from first base to pitch. Now over at third base, Leitner will move from third base to first base. So it's kind of, again, a hats off to Kampshoff. Really good. Had Post 8 really on their heels, not able to get really any good swings on the ball for 5. And luckily, Post 8 was able to get a couple of base runners, and then the big from Andy Gordon to put Post 8 ahead 2-1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
So Gray Zabel will be intentionally walked, and that will bring up River Iverson, as it is Hack to be the man on the mound. So Gordon was on at second with the RBI double, and they want the double play in order, so they intentionally walk Zabel to bring up Iverson. He will show butt as Hack now will come set. Zabel will get a big lead. The first pitch is upstairs for ball 1.
And this is something you see out of Coach Brian White. He has used this play before where the batter will show bunt, and then as the pitcher goes into his motion, the batter will pull the bat back and actually take a full hack at the ball.
1-0 pitch. Iverson now trying to drop down the bunt, and he will bunt it foul. And it's now 1-1 to the left fielder. Iverson, he is 0 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt in the second inning, and then he flew out to center field to end the bottom of the 4th. And they're trying to add right now to this 2-1 lead with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. First 4 men have reached base. Coverdale and Stout have both scored. 1-1. That one's out towards center field. Coming in on it is going to, out towards, and there's one down. Well, I was way off on that one. The screen in front of me kind of throws off where that ball is actually taking place.
Center fielder, second baseman, and right fielder, but second baseman was actually able to drift back just a couple of steps and corral that ball.
Here's Bennett Dean. The first pitch is missed upstairs for ball 1. As Dean is 0 for 2, he popped out of the second baseman, also grounded back to the pitcher. As first and second with 1 down. The 1-0 pitch. It sounded a little bit like John Rooney for the St. Louis Cardinals. Sometimes you've been able to have a conversation with him before. The 2
on the perspective, and sometimes, especially today, I mean, you got a most of where that ball's headed.
The 3-0 pitch is missed for ball 4, and it's a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are now low for Matt Lusk to come to the plate and a chance to really add on to this lead, as it looks like Elliott Life will be the pinch runner for Bennett Dean. And Life will be a run that could really open things up if he comes all the way around to score. Could give Post State a 4-run lead. Matt Lusk could potentially come into this ball game in the bottom of the seventh or top of the seventh and not even have a save opportunity. Or it looked like at first he's going to come in maybe when Post State not even having the lead. First pitch to Lusk is taken for strike one. He is 0 for 1. He flew out to left field. Was also hit by a pitch. And he was stranded at second base. Post State had just 4 base runners to the first 5 innings. It's now 0-2 as that curveball drops in. They've had 5 base runners in this inning alone. They've scored twice, and 3 more are on base. With 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Infield is in all the way around. Could be back in the middle for a chance for a double play. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Lusk drives it out to left field, going back on it. Way back. It's gone for a grand slam for Matt Lusk. And he promptly unloads the bases in a 6-1 lead for Post State. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Support for Jack Van Camp to pick up a win after he had 13 strikeouts in 6 innings. And it's now a 6-1 lead here for Post State.
Yeah, and again, we talked early in the game about how quick Matt Lusk's hands are, and that he showed them right there. And kind of a double-edged sword for Matt Lusk. He was warming up out in the bullpen, had an opportunity to come in and potentially maybe get a save if he comes in to pitch the 7th inning. Well, he promptly hits himself out of a save opportunity, but I think he will take that grand slam any day.
Yeah, I think the 4 RBIs on that one hit will outweigh his 4th save of the year, as he will most likely come in to pitch in the top of the 7th inning with at least a 6-1 lead, as the 1-0 pitch is outside now, 2-0 to A.J. Gayton. Gayton is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to the right fielder in his 2 plate appearances. Lincoln Keenels is on deck. He will be the number 9 hitter in the order. So Post State will at least have a chance to have all 9 guys come to the plate, which will keep Gayton at first base with a 1-out single. And here comes Lincoln Keenels to the plate. And so Yankton, who had 5 shutout innings from Kampshoff, and Kampshoff will be charged with just Gordon's extra run, so he's charged with just those 3 runs. But it's a 6-1 lead right now. I believe you're trying to hold your fingers out for me, and I wasn't even paying attention to you. First pitch to Lincoln Keenels. That one's out towards left field. Going back on it's the left fielder in Redmond. He'll have plenty of room to make that catch, and there's now 2 down. And that'll work things back up to the top of the order for Andrew Coverdale, who led off the inning with a walk. Give that another year, and that's probably an 8-1 ball game for Post State for Keenels. Get him another year of a little bit of some growth, add some. That one could be gone by the time he's a junior and senior.
Yeah, dimensions here at First National Bank Field. 3.
And at that point was Zarbach tied the game at 1. There's a ground on the left side. There is Zarbach at the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-run score in the inning for Post State, as they have taken a 6-1 lead, capped off by a grand slam. Matt Lusk, he will come into the. Actually, Van Camp looks like, we'll have the top of the 7th coming up after this. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. First pitch to the top of the 7th inning is grounded to the second baseman Coverdale, and the leadoff man is retired at 1 pitch as Jack Van Camp will try and close this one out himself. and go the distance as McCorkle was retired as he's put the ball in play for the first time. He was a strikeout victim in his first 2 plate appearances. Here is Tristan Redmond, who has also struck out both times. Van Camp will look for a complete game after getting 6 runs of help in the bottom of the inning. And Matt Lusk decided he didn't want to pitch in this first game, so he decided to hit a grand slam and say, maybe next game. Maybe I'll come in next game. 1-0 is taken for strike 1. Is now 1-1. 13 strikeouts for Jack Van Camp. He's looking to give a hat trick, and it's now 2-1. The umpire stood up like he was about ready to call that a strike. Instead, he fooled everybody in the stands, and it's now 2-1. And here is the 2-1 pitch for Van Camp. That one is over. Dylan Prouty as he was a pinch runner for him. That was a check swing that will be foul down the first base line.
This will be pitch number 100. If Jack Van Camp can get the batter and stay under 105 pitches, he will at least be allowed to finish.
The count is now 3-2. And here comes the 3-2 pitch. That was another check swing that will be fielded by Van Camp. He's going to take it himself. He's doing it all from the defense and pitching position here this ball game. So he records the out, 1 unassisted. But really had to have, as against Prouty, he's been able to retire everybody else at least once, if not twice. Actually, he's retired everybody at twice except for Dylan Prouty. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. He is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Van Camp, this will be his final batter as the 1-0 pitch is taken for strike 1. Now 1-1.
The thing that I see in Jack Van Camp right now is that his velocity is as good at pitch 102 as it was at pitch 1. I mean, his command is still very good as he gets a swinging strike 2 from Prouty.
So Van Camp a strike away from a complete game against Yankton. Gave up just 1 run in the 3rd inning. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And that will end the ball game. 14 strikeout performance for Jack Van Camp. He goes all 7. State wins it 6-1 here in game 1 for them. And what a performance from Jack Van Camp as he got some help in that bottom of the 6th inning, especially from Matt Lusk, who hit a 1-out grand slam and gave Post State that 6-1 lead. And Van Camp, that's all he needed. 2 runs was all he needed in this ball game. But he picks up the win, and Post State is now 11-4 on the season as they win at 6-1 here in game 1. Back in 2 minutes to wrap game 1 up. You're listening to Post State Baseball, and today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com.